Welcome to the Leadership Catalyst PowerBites podcast, where leadership meets transformation. I'm your host, Philip Water. In each episode, my guest brings their perspectives on real leadership challenges, along with actionable insights that you can use. Today, my guest is Dr. Laura Sicola, executive communication coach, keynote speaker, and author of Speaking to Influence. She helps leaders command the room, connect with their audience, and close the deal. Laura, welcome to PowerBites.
Philip, thank you so much for the invitation.
You're most welcome. Now, one of the things that I admire about Laura's work is how she takes leaders beyond simply delivering a message to truly influencing, making sure that their words inspire action and trust. And what stands out for me is the way she helps uncover the gap between intention and perception, what leaders believe that they're saying versus what people actually hear, and then supporting them to transcend that gap. And this ability is part of what makes her work so powerful and why I'm delighted to have her with us today. Laura, I'm sure we could talk until the cows come home, which we've already started doing, but we've only got about 10, 15 minutes. So let me jump straight in with a curved ball. What is it that you want to say today? And what do you think I'm actually wanting to hear?
Goodness. Well, I'm going to answer those in reverse, if that's okay. What I believe that you and hopefully your audience wants to hear most is something that turns the light bulb on, something that's a little bit different, that provides a key to unlock a door that's been locked for a while, that just allows people to think a bit differently in a way that is empowering and provides that direction forward. How's that?
You nailed it on the dot, as well as referencing my podcast logo with the light bulb. Thank you.
My pleasure. Well, then, as far as what I would like to share is to be able to answer the specific needs and challenges that your audience faces most frequently in a way that provides those tools. Because when it comes to communication, one of the most common frustrations that I hear leaders express is the why don't they get it? Why don't they see what's obvious to me? Why don't they understand there shouldn't be the resistance that there is? And often the desire is to change the them, the perspective of someone else, as opposed to recognizing, no, you really can still be authentic and still be you, but adjust just a little bit what you say and how you say it in a way that makes it click. Sometimes it really is just that small little shift that opens the door. And so I would love to be able to provide that kind of access today.
Well, I'm sure many people would love to have that access. So let me kick off with my first real question. Who are the leaders who benefit most from your work? And what is it that you bring to them?
And I think we've touched on this already, but it is senior leaders, maybe a level or two down from the C-suite, if not at the senior executive level themselves, but where they have clear vision, they have clear purpose, they have great experience and expertise, but somehow they can't translate it as clearly, concisely, compellingly, in a way that gets through to whoever their very widely varying audiences might be, in a way that will get all of those people on board and rowing in the same direction to get the results that they're looking for. If you can't translate that expertise, you're not going to get the yes. So I help them close that gap and get to that yes.
So you already started answering my second question, which is, how do you see the core challenge or gaps that you help them solve?
Typically, it is people who are stuck in what I like to call the expert's curse, where You've gone up the career chain or the career ladder to a certain degree because of your technical expertise, because of your industry knowledge and experience. And that's great to a certain point. But if you want to succeed beyond that, that whole what got you here won't get you there space, it is no longer about your ability to solve the problem. It's about your ability to persuade, and not in manhandling, so to speak, not in muscling your way through and handling people that way, but in the finesse of your ability to communicate in ways that speak the languages of your different audiences. And that can be macro level of, okay, you speak German, you speak English, you speak whatever else, but more likely it's, do you speak finance? Do you speak IT? Do you speak marketing or customer relations? And how do you frame what that group needs to hear to help them get the results that they need or what they believe you expect, and empower them to do so through your messaging? That's where you don't get just compliance, you get buy-in. And there is a massive cultural shift when you have full buy-in, not just mechanical compliance. That's what we wanted to build, that movement.
So you're kind of a translator. You just help them translate what they know, what they want to say into a way that other people can hear.
Absolutely. It's not kind of, that's fully what it is, 100%.
So, Laura, what are the common symptoms that your clients experience when they're dealing with these challenges that you've just mentioned?
There's a number of symptoms that people will express. One in particular is that they are stuck. And it may be where they are a senior vice president, but they're not a chief something officer at that point. They want to be on the short list. They want to know that that's the next step for them. And the board and the other powers, decision makers, look at them and they recognize, technically you have the skills and you have the longevity, but something's missing. What's missing? And it's usually about your executive presence, about that ability to get the buy-in, not just to explain something in a way that is technically correct, or factually logical necessarily. What is that thing that's missing? It is 99.9% of the time about communication and presence. So helping them to connect that, to go that last little 1%. Um, but otherwise, just the frustration that that you're right. In your mind, everything makes perfect sense, but people are still stuck. And you don't understand why others aren't giving you the yeses that you need, the board, investors, or whoever else. What's the problem here? And why can't you get them past it? That's when someone's going to come in and say, we need your help.
When people try to deal with these challenges that they face, the frustration, not getting ahead, how do they hold themselves back? What are the typical errors that they make when they just try to deal with this themselves and not use a professional like yourself?
There's a number of common mistakes along those lines. One is, you mentioned earlier, the what got you here won't get you there philosophy. And it's like, well, but I'm in finance. Finance is non-negotiable. It's all on the balance sheet. It's all on the P&L. Things add up or they don't add up. So it's not flexible. Well, but the way that you communicate needs to flex, the willingness to learn to speak in other languages of sorts. And I just use finance as an example, of course, but they don't hold the monopoly on that particular resistance point. Um, so the lack of willingness to see things from another perspective is a challenge. Another one is you referenced authenticity is a big theme for your podcast and of course for your coaching, Philip. And people often look, at least here in the US, and you can tell me if this is something that you're seeing across Europe and elsewhere also, but that they reduce authenticity to a black or white construct. This is me, that's not me. And if you want me to do anything different, step out of my comfort zone, learn a new approach, try something different that I don't like, that I'm not comfortable with, that I'm not used to, that I'm not good at yet, you're forcing me to be inauthentic. No, no, no. By definition, any sort of learning curve is going to be uncomfortable. It is not inauthentic. We can't try to fuse two ideas that are not synonymous. So your authenticity is not synonymous with comfort zone. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone to hear other people's perspectives and understand how to bring them together if you're going to authentically help them understand yours. So learning to understand that authenticity is flexible, not and is something that is you want it to grow. It should be expanding with each new sphere of influence that into which you want to expand. That's going to require growth and change and addition, not substitution.
Absolutely. Laura, I can talk to you for months because, just what you spoke about authenticity right now, you hit the nail on the head. And I'm so tempted to just start talking about authenticity, but that's not why we are here. But at some stage, I'd love to have a conversation with you
That would be
about
my
that
pleasure.
because, um, so can you recommend a single powerful, inspirational idea that could inspire people who face these symptoms, who face these challenges, that could help them approach this more effectively or differently?
To use the metaphor of that everyone inside has a prismatic voice. And what I mean by a prismatic voice is that I'm sure at some point, Philip, you've seen a little crystal that someone might have hanging from their kitchen window or the rearview mirror of their car, little sun catchers where the sun hits it and the rainbow comes out on the other side that you can see on the wall or the floor or the seat. And in that same way, and this is as kind of foofy as I get, so play with me on the metaphor here, but the it, we are that white light, that sunlight, and in us are all of the colors of that spectrum already. And it just is a matter of what is the prism, what is the context that we need to pass through, at which point we will see those different colors and we need to choose one or two that need to shine more brightly. So right now I'm in my coaching mode, I'm in my podcast mode, in my instructional mode. Let's call that my purple. I also have a 9-year-old son at home. I don't
Yeah.
talk to him like this. But it's not that that's the authentic me and here I'm faking, or this is the authentic me and when I'm with him I'm faking. They're both fully authentic, they're just different. We might call that my orange. So I recognize that at different times, I need to be a little here. I've made a little joking comment a moment ago, so you've got to chuckle out of it. So that's where the humor will go here, which is very different from how my humor is when I'm playing with a child. So I know to turn up, turn down, what's the appropriate color from my spectrum in my prismatic voice that I want to shine here because I believe it will allow my message, which is the gift that I want to give to your audience, to be presented in a way that they can relate to it, receive it, have it resonate, and be willing to try to apply and implement for themselves. That's the key, is that ability to identify all of your own colors in your spectrum and know that it's okay to shift fluidly from one to the other and make strategic choices about which color to use for the sake of connecting best with a particular audience in that moment. That's really the key.
I love the metaphor, really, I do. So, is there a valuable free action that people could take to start working towards how to work this, how to do this?
I think one of the easiest steps that people can take to identify their own blind spots, things where they don't realize what they're projecting is not optimal for what they want to achieve, is when you're on your next video conference, Teams, Zoom, whatever platform your company or organization likes, take your phone and open up to your video camera and just prop the phone up against your screen So nobody else needs to know that you're recording it. You're not going to record the whole video, the whole meeting, but just at a point when you need to be explaining something. 1 minute, 3 minutes, hit the record button, and then stop. And when the meeting is done, go back and watch that video. Nobody likes to see themselves on video. So let's get that straight. No, don't make the excuse of, well, I don't like that, I'm not going to do it. I never promised you'd like it. I said you'll find it valuable. So, but watch it and ask yourself, if I didn't know that person from Eve or from Adam, would they come across as credible, as someone that I would buy into? Do they seem like that they believe in what they're saying? And am I compelled by what they're saying and how they're saying it? And just watch objectively and identify for yourself what worked effectively and where did I get in my own way? What did I do that prevented me from being as effective as I could have been, that I have complete control over to change? Raising that awareness point is the absolute first step to clarity, change, and results.
That's a wonderful suggestion.
So for those of you who are going, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to look at myself and it's going to mess me up when I'm talking to my team if I have to have the phone, the video there. So what you're going to do is a very high-tech tool that you've got here, a little Post-it note, whatever color you like. And I just want you to put it on the screen so that after you've opened your camera, you've set it up, you've propped it up so that it's facing you, you're catching yourself on it. You've hit the record button, stick the Post-it, the little sticky note there so you can't see your own face behind it. Don't cover the camera. You're not going to put it up here. That doesn't help anything, but put it down here so that you're not distracted by your own face. You're just looking at the people on your video conference call. You do what you need to do. Then you can find the off button, turn it off, and not worry about it. Then put it away. But that will keep you from feeling strange about staring at yourself on that phone.
Could you recommend a valuable free resource that listeners can access to help support them in the line of what you've discussed so far? Because I found this very, very interesting and helpful.
Oh, thank you. Well, if it's okay with you, I would love to offer your listeners a gift. You mentioned earlier that I have my book, which is called Speaking to Influence. And so this is what it looks like. And I would be very happy to offer 2 chapters for free to your audience. And maybe we could share a link for people to download those 2 chapters, perhaps share it in the show notes or someplace else.
I'll do both of that. And thank you. That is really generous of you.
My pleasure. So, and it's nice and easy. There's exercises at the end of each of the chapters that you can do as well for everyone that is very self-access and helps move forward.
My final question is about authentic leadership and leading in a way that's congruent with who you truly are. Now, I don't want to talk about what I understand under authentic leadership. I want to hear what you understand under authentic leadership. So what does it mean for you? Why is it important for you?
To me, authentic leadership is someone who is confident in 2 things at the same time. Confident in knowing who they are as a person in general, but also knowing how to adapt your approach, adapt your data, adapt your stories, adapt your communication style for the needs of the moment, for the audience, for the desired result, short or long term, or both. If you are confident in your ability to balance authenticity with adaptability, the road is paved. And that's authentic leadership.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Laura, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you. And I really appreciate, this is just what I keep seeing in my mind's eye, is this prismatic crystal. And thank you for that, because that really gives me something as well. I really appreciated that.
Thank you, Philip.
Hopefully we have time for another session at some other time as well.
It would be an honor.